All right, welcome back. Harmless Dave here. And this time talking about real issues in real time for a few real people out there, just like you and just like me. So, one of my rock star buddies sent me a link to this story. And, I haven't been doing these. I've got my buddy Scotty, who's a patron, who will send me links every single day on this topic. But this one is a pretty high profile one. So, again, the reason I keep doing this is because it seems as though people don't care. So, I'm over on Twitter because that's where the link sent me. Nick Sortor, not familiar with him. I'm not subscribed to him. Justin, CNN political commentator Alice Stewart has died suddenly. Police found her body outdoors early this morning. Officers currently believe a medical emergency occurred. See the quotation marks there? This was her just yesterday. Just yesterday. So the day before, she's on set with Wolf Blitzed. That's what Rush Limbaugh used to call him in the old days, Wolf Blitzer, right? And how did CNN cover this story? Well, I looked that up. Alice Stewart, a veteran political advisor and CNN political commentator who worked on several GOP presidential campaigns, has died. Wow, that's amazing. They would hire anyone from the GOP to work over at CNN. She must have been like, the George H.W. Bush kind of GOP person. Law enforcement officials told, and that would make sense too, based on what's happening here, that she would certainly buy into whatever the medical industrial complex is telling her to do. Same thing as what was said over on Twitter or X. Law enforcement officials told CNN that Stewart's body was found outdoors in the Bellevue neighborhood in Northern Virginia early Saturday morning. No foul play is suspected, and officers believe a medical emergency occurred. And again, there she is the day before, looking fairly healthy, right? 58 years old. I know that's 116 in big pharma years. So a pretty long life for her based on what we know these days. Alice was a very dear friend and colleague to all of us here at CNN. This, according to Mark Thompson, the CEO of the network, a political veteran and an Emmy award-winning journalist who brought an incomparable spark to CNN's coverage, known across our bureaus not only for her political savvy, but for her unwavering kindness. Our hearts are heavy as we mourn such an extraordinary loss. Stewart was born on March 11th, 1966 in Atlanta. Stewart started her career as a local reporter and producer in Georgia before moving to Little Rock, Arkansas. She went on to serve as the communications director in the then Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee's office before assuming a similar role for his presidential run in 2008. So, yeah, she kind of served mostly GOP heavyweight type people here. Michelle Bachmann, Rick Santorum, most recently, communications director for um, Senator Ted Cruz. All of these things have one thing in common. They all lost when they ran for president. Mike Huckabee, Michelle Bachmann, Rick Santorum, and Ted Cruz, they all lost when they got to the presidential sweepstakes there. So, should I scroll down and look at the comments here? Sad to hear. Now, if we ask if this was caused by the jab, do we still get canceled, or are we finally past that as a society? That is really the big question. And this guy says, I'm sure that the pushers are about to jump on us in full force because this is such an obvious one, but maybe they'll do an autopsy to save face. This is CNN. So they could say, yeah, we did, a tox report and came back negative, or Natural causes was just her time. Nothing really to see here or worry about. I wish people would stop with the crazy conspiracy theories. Come on, Dave, stay in your lane, dude. Talk about music so you can get another 800 views on a video, right? It's, you know what? I decided to go into this really based on what the rock community was doing to people a couple of years ago. 3 years ago, everybody was saying, you got to do this, you got to do this. Well, we know for a fact that it didn't do any good. And nobody even comes around on that issue and says, well, you know what? Maybe it wasn't the most effective product. Maybe, we shouldn't have been cheerleading. Or maybe at least after the fact, we say, you know what? I was misled on this. You could do that. Now, I don't know if, if she was up to date, right? If she had been to CVS recently, I have no idea about that. My guess is I'm sure she did this initially because I'm thinking she worked with Chris Cuomo, right? And Cuomo came out and said, yeah, I did it. And then, I did it again. And then all hell broke loose. And no big deal, though. It's kind of like what happened with Eric Clapton. People don't even know he did it because on the second one, he had issues. And then all of a sudden, he became public enemy number one. He used to be ranked at like number two when it was the list of great guitar players. He was ranked at two, and then suddenly he's at number 38 or something. No coincidence there, right? Yeah, this guy's crazy. So we're just gonna de-rank or whatever it is. We're gonna just move him down the list. And we won't say why we're doing that. We're just gonna bring people up, by the way, who mostly if you look at the people that went up the rankings, they were all pro pharma, like cheerleaders or people who did what they were told and didn't make a stink about it. So, yeah, this is the way society is now. You blackmail people, you use extortion, you debank them in some cases. Really? You want to do business? You have those views and you want to do business with us? No, I'm sorry. We're not going to give you a debit card. Have a nice day, though. Just, yeah, okay. So, how do I get my money from my bank account, that you've just frozen? Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen anytime soon, but, if you have the wrong beliefs or you start asking the wrong questions, certain people apparently get very upset. You know what's good about this new platform? Well, it's not new, but the Elon takeover of X, is that none of these things would be allowed on the old platform. I mean, just to see this and this guy saying this stuff, they would have just deleted this and probably suspended the guy's account, and you wouldn't hear from this again. You wouldn't know. I remember there was a woman who collapsed on television. She was a nurse, and this was in the early days. She collapsed on live television after she got, her safe and effective product. And I don't think she was ever heard from again. I wonder what happened to her. Did she move to Russia? I mean, what happened to her? So people probably know who that is who have been following this stuff. I just can't believe that this is happening. And most people are like, okay, Dave, can you talk about something, talk about Journey? You don't talk about Journey enough. Just talk about the whereabouts of Steve Perry. He's got to be moving around somewhere today. He might be out of his house walking around. You should have somebody, close to where he lives to monitor everything he does, because that's what is truly important right now, not this supposed conspiracy theory thing that you keep floating out there, which can easily be debunked by the medical industrial complex. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. Do with this what you will. If you think this is just garbage and you think it's coincidence, she's there on Friday, standing there next to Wolf Blitzer, and the next day she's gone. She was outdoors. She was probably trying to have a good day, just fresh air, sunshine, what you would normally do in the springtime. And now she's no longer here. She died at age 58. So her name again, Alice Stewart. Alice Stewart, you can look into this story yourself. There is a video, which is on the same page where CNN did their story, where they just talked endlessly about how great she was, but didn't at all speculate on what happened to poor Alice Stewart. So we're left to just scratch our head and say, just another day living here in America.